Good morning and happy Monday. It has been quite a while since I've done one of these what I eat in a days / spend the day with me. So that's what we're gonna do today. Okay, so I got up earlier today and packed Connor's lunch. I'm like an energy drink first thing in the morning person now. I don't know like when I switched to this other than coffee, but this morning I had one of these Celsius's. And if you guys don't have one of these to like keep your cans cold, this one is a brewmate. I also really love this sticker I got at the I got it at the farmer's market. But anyway, I just had one of these. Also, I wanted to share with you guys, so this is my second week taking compounded semaglutide. So I ended up getting it through like a mail order telehealth company. I can link it down below. And so basically they just send you the compounded semaglutide and they send you a bunch of syringes, super easy. And then you can like chat with one of their providers via telehealth if you have an issue. When I tell you this stuff is magic in terms of like controlling your hunger, like I'm not kidding. I did my first injection, it's probably been about 10 days ago. And then I did my second injection this weekend. I literally felt the effects like almost immediately. Like the same day I started not being able to eat as much. Also, I'm not like hungry in between meals. I don't know, man. Like I said, for someone like me who's struggled with my weight pretty much my whole adult life, it feels like magic to me. So what I've been trying to do is like prioritizing protein at meals because I definitely can't eat as much as I did before, and I'm obviously like not even on the highest dose, and that makes it so like I've been keeping my calories around 16 to 1700 per day. I also noticed like last night, I normally like eat something small before I go to bed so I can take my meds. And I've actually been having to start taking my meds at dinner time because I'm not like hungry at all when I go to bed now, which I don't know. You guys can let me know like your experience because I know a lot of you have been on these meds as well. It's like crazy how much it helps with hunger and just like not thinking about food. I know a lot of people talk about like the food noise or whatever, but yeah, I need to figure out what I'm gonna eat for breakfast or if I'm gonna eat now or what I'm gonna do. I was a little bit nauseated this morning, but that went away. I have been trying to make sure I drink a lot of water, obviously, so I still have some ice water left over from last night. I'm gonna refill that up. Okay, I don't know what I want for breakfast. I don't even know if I want breakfast. So I'm gonna make myself a cup of coffee. These butter pecan pods from Dunkin', I got them at Walmart. They're actually really good. I've just been basically like working and trying to clear out my emails for like an hour straight because I was on a vacation last week. Adam and I actually went to St. Louis for kind of like our annual anniversary trip that we take each year. And you know how it is when you get back from vacation, you have like 700 emails you have to go through. And then I also realized that some of my annual training needs to be done this week. You know how you have to do all of like those modules about harassment and blah, 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 blah. And I'm trying to do the harassment one right now. And I swear to God, it's like 19 modules long. And like I keep like clicking through and listening to them, and then I get to the end and it's like, oh, you're not done yet, you missed a question in module 2. And I'm like, awesome, this is awesome. All right, I have no idea what to eat for breakfast, so I'm just gonna eat some yogurt. I got this at Aldi. It's a Chobani apple pie. It's got like some protein in it, not a lot, but it'll hold me over till lunch. It's like 10 o'clock right now. I actually need to get groceries. Normally for breakfast, I like to do like eggs and maybe some potatoes and cottage cheese. Like that's one of my favorite breakfasts, but we were at a soccer tournament this weekend, and then my grandpa actually was in the hospital. So I was over there like several days in a row, and I just haven't had a chance to get groceries yet. So actually I need to order that today. And then also I kind of forgot about these, the V8 Energy Peach Mango. This is really good. They're only 50 calories and they have some caffeine in them, so more caffeine, whatever. This yogurt, like I don't know if I necessarily recommend this flavor. It's a little bit sweet for me. Okay, so I kind of just wanted to pop into the middle of this video and give you guys an update on what has really gone on in my life this year, because I don't think I have talked about it. And also, I really feel like I owe my viewers an apology for being so inconsistent and just way not as prolific as I would like to be here on YouTube. I honestly feel like if I had time, I would like to post a video every day. That's not really possible with my life right now, especially with my regular job. But this year has been very challenging for me, and I've spoken some about that online here, but not totally. And so I wanted to say that I'm sorry and that I am committing to do better in terms of frequency and consistency with uploads, especially since I'm in a much better place now. But first, I want to thank today's video sponsor, who is Fabric by Gerber Life. So I've been working with Fabric by Gerber Life for a long time here on my channel, because personally, I think that it is super important that you protect your family with life insurance. Also, I'm going to talk about how Fabric is not just life insurance, but if you want to protect your family in case the unexpected happens, and especially if you have people in your family that rely on you for your income, life insurance is super important. Adam and I both work, we both contribute an income to our household. And honestly, if either one of us, if something happened to us, obviously our income would be impacted significantly, which is why we have always taken out life insurance and always had active policies for both of us. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance that you can get done right here, right now. One of the reasons why I like it is because it's super convenient. So you could be covered right from your couch in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. If you've got kids, and especially if you're young and healthy, the time to lock in low rates is now. Fabric also has flexible, high quality policies that fit your family and your budget, like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. Fabric was designed by parents for parents, and now they've partnered with Gerber Life, which has been trusted by millions of families just like yours for over 50 years. Fabric also has over 1,900 five-star reviews on Trustpilot, and they have a rating of excellent. And they actually have more than life insurance. They have free digital wills, investment accounts to invest for your kids' future, and more. And the best part is that you can manage it all right from your phone. So join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. You can apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/Jen. That's meetfabric.com/Jen, MEET fabric.com/Jen. Thank you again to Fabric for sponsoring today's video, and don't forget to check out that link in the description box below. All right, so this year has been kind of challenging for me in terms of like my depression, so my mental health, and then also I had some physical health issues as well, which I'll talk about because I don't know that I ever really fully talked about them. But back in, I think it was February/March of this year, I was just at a point where like I couldn't even get off the couch for like several days, and I talked to my psychiatrist and we tried some different things. But the bottom line is that I ended up taking like a 6-week break from YouTube. And honestly, I don't know that I've really ever been able to like recover my momentum from that. And it's really something that bothers me because I truly, truly appreciate everyone that has stuck with me throughout these many years that I've been on YouTube. I feel like we have a really like kind, positive community here. And so it always just makes me feel bad when I can't deliver as much content as I want to. But as most of you probably know, I also have a full-time job and I also frequently travel for work. I was actually just adding everything up today, and when this year is said and done, I will have traveled 20 weeks out of the year, which is pretty typical. So a little less than half the year I'll be on the road, and sometimes it makes it easier to get like video stuff done, and sometimes it makes it harder, especially if I'm doing something for work, like traveling somewhere to do something that requires a lot of like mental energy during the day, which is common. Then it's like all I really want to do is go back to my hotel room and eat dinner and go to bed, call my family, or you know, maybe eat dinner with one of my coworkers. And so that's been something that is challenging for me, especially since I make obviously a lot of like cooking content. I really can't make cooking content when I'm out and about. And I have not I was actually just watching some of my old travel videos the other night because I was like, why don't I still do that? Like, I need to do that too. I don't know. I just feel like I've been in a real funk this year. But anyway, I also ended up having a mammogram slash biopsy earlier this year that showed that I had precancerous cells in my right breast, and so I ended up having to have surgery for that. Even though the biopsy was negative, they said that like sometimes when they do like the needle biopsy, obviously there can be other parts around there that they're not sure if are actually cancerous or not, and they want to make sure that they basically get everything. And so I had to have a lumpectomy, which obviously was an outpatient procedure, but I did get general anesthesia for that. And so that was pretty uneventful. But then after that, I went to see one of the cancer specialists at the University of Iowa because I had genetic testing done, and I don't have the BRCA gene, but based on my family history, because I have a family history of first-degree relative with ovarian cancer and a second-degree relative with breast cancer, that I have, like, obviously, I think don't quote me on these numbers because I can't remember exactly, but like I have a risk of getting breast cancer of like 27%, and like the general population risk is like 1 to 7% or something like that. So it's obviously not certain, but it's something that is a risk. And so from here on out, I'm getting mammograms every 6 months, alternating with MRIs every 6 months. Breast biopsies are not fun. Like basically every time I go in every 6 months for something like this, like the bottom line is like, if you have dense breast tissue, like they're gonna find something and then they're gonna want to biopsy it. And so I don't know, it's just been like kind of difficult for me to deal with because like now I feel like I'm like a pincushion, and so I have all these like scars and poke marks and biopsy marks, and I know I'm not like a bikini model, but it's just something that's kind of, I don't know, like it makes you feel down about yourself, I guess you could say. I don't know, some of you can probably identify with that. But anyway, also as a preventative measure, one of my doctors wanted to start me on tamoxifen, which is an evidence-based drug that can help prevent breast cancer. It's been like very well studied. And so there's a couple different paths you can take. There's like a higher dose and a lower dose. And basically you have to see if you can tolerate the side effects, okay? I apparently cannot tolerate the side effects, and I would be curious to know if any of you have taken tamoxifen before also. But essentially what ended up happening is I said that I would try it, and so they started me on the reduced dose. Well, I also take Wellbutrin for depression. I've taken it for like 12 years now in a combination with Celexa, which has for the most part worked very well for me besides a few tweaks. Anyway, there's something to do with the interaction between Wellbutrin and tamoxifen, that if you take Wellbutrin while you take tamoxifen, it can lessen the effects of the drug itself on like the cancer prevention side. And so I decided to reduce my Wellbutrin dose and take the tamoxifen. It was a nightmare. Like the side effects that I had from the tamoxifen, to me, like I just had an appointment with my psychiatrist earlier this week, and I'm like, I cannot tolerate that drug. Like it basically mimics kind of menopausal symptoms. So I know I'm probably gonna have to go through these things someday, but it might be more gradual than just like getting on a drug and then all of a sudden being like thrown into these menopause symptoms. I was getting hot flashes, like to the point where I could like barely concentrate at work. Like I have this fan on my desk and I would just like have it full blast and I'd be like, oh my God, I feel like I have a freaking fever. It was awful. I probably could have dealt with that if it was only that, but the fatigue that I felt from it was horrendous. Like every single afternoon I would feel so tired, like I just had to go take a nap. And that's not like something that's normal for me. Obviously we're all tired from time to time, but like when you experience fatigue to a point where you feel like you can barely stay awake, that really negatively impacts your quality of life, right? And then the fact that I was so fatigued, like I have issues focusing anyway when I'm working, and that made it 10 times worse. And so the combination of the reduced Wellbutrin and the tamoxifen, I was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing this. And so I went off the tamoxifen and back on my full dose of Wellbutrin. And so I feel like now I'm like finally starting to feel like human again. And it's like the year's almost over. So, you know, like it has just been a time. And obviously I'm thankful. I mean, things could always be much worse, right? But, you know, also I think part of the issue or the difficulty with me staying really consistent on YouTube has been just like, as my kids get older and get into more like demanding activities, that really takes up a lot of time too. And I love that my kids do things that they love, and I would never trade that. Like, I want them to have as many experiences and do as many extracurriculars as they want to do or feel comfortable doing. Connor plays travel soccer, and he has played it for several years now, and the schedule is like intense. Like, I mean, and you guys know, I don't have to, I'm like probably preaching to the choir here for those of you guys that do travel sports. It is like an incredibly fulfilling thing for kids, like especially Connor. He plays goalie, and he's actually quite good at it. And if he sucked, I would tell you. Like, I'm not one of those moms that is like, oh, my kids are amazing. like no, like he's actually very good at playing goalie, and he loves it, and it's something that he wants to do and loves to do. Kira's also been in marching band. She's actually in color guard. This is her second year doing it. So, you know, there's football games every Friday, and, you know, traveling to competitions and all of that. So I don't need to like go into detail with like how busy it is to have like teenagers and preteens, because I know that y'all know. And that kind of stuff is like fun, right? Like, it's fun to travel as a family and like go stay in a hotel for a weekend and play soccer and do local sightseeing type stuff. But it does really like cut into my productivity, like around the house. It cuts into my productivity with YouTube. Like, it's just life in general seems very like overwhelming. Like, the schedule and everything on my calendar seems like very overwhelming at times. And I'm one of those people where like when I get overwhelmed, I just tend to like shut down. Like, I can't be productive, and that's probably something I need to fix within myself. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to apologize, to thank you for still watching. If you still watch, I know that all of my inconsistency and really kind of putting YouTube as my last priority has really like impacted my channel growth and my channel negatively. And you know what, like, that's okay. Like, it does disappoint me that I had to do that, but I think that just demonstrates, you know, that we all have kind of like different seasons in life. Right? And like, there's times when we can be more prolific and more productive at certain things, and then there are times that we can't. But like I said, I'm finally kind of like feeling back to myself. One thing I've noticed also is that I'm on week 3 of the semaglutide now, and I don't know if any of you have noticed this also, but it seems to have improved my focus a bit. Like, not dramatically so, but I do find that I can sit and work and get things done for like longer periods of time without getting distracted. I've never been like officially screened or diagnosed with ADD or ADHD or whatever, but I feel like I have a lot of the symptoms, which is annoying to me, because it's like, oh, do you like, hello, Jennifer, do you really need like one more freaking mental health thing wrong with you? No? Okay. Like, but I don't know. And so I was like actually reading a couple weeks ago, and people were saying, there are some people that are saying that the GLP-1 medications do help improve your executive function, which I think is like super interesting. So anyway, overall, the semaglutide has been a super positive experience for me. Obviously, I'm like super early in my journey, but yeah, I kind of just wanted to share all that with you guys. And thank you for being here, and thank you for always being kind and supportive. And if you're going through something also, or if this year has been a shit year for you, I'm giving you a virtual hug right now. Let's hug it out. Let's hug it out. Okay, back to what I'm eating. All right, so for lunch today, I heated up these pork carnitas. This is the Roly Roti brand. I want to say I got these from Misfits Market. I've had them before, maybe a couple times. Basically, the pork comes in kind of like a vacuum sealed package, and then you just have to cook it in a skillet and kind of chop it fine and get it crispy, you know, like carnitas. And then I also shredded up some lettuce. This is just some, I don't know if it's green leaf or romaine that I had in the fridge. some tomatoes, I've got some limes, and then I'm just gonna use 2 of these flour tortillas that I had in the fridge. I just like to heat them up in a nonstick skillet because I find that it tastes so much better than heating them up in the microwave. A lot of you have been asking me about this Hexclad pan. So I have been wanting one for years, but I never pulled the trigger because they are so expensive. But I really do think that I can recommend it. I think it's one of those pans that can really last your whole entire life. Like non-stick pans, I don't know if you guys know this, but they're actually not meant to last a super long time. They really only last like maybe 2 to 4 years at the most. But this actually functions like a non-stick pan, but you can actually like scrub it with stainless steel. So it's almost like, or what was I trying to say? You can scrub it with steel wool. So it's almost like a stainless steel pan also, but I really love it. Like I said, super pricey, but I think if it lasts you your lifetime, then it's worth it. So I'm gonna build my tacos. I have been tracking my food in MyFitnessPal. It's always just helpful for me to make sure that I'm getting enough protein and knowing approximately, you know, how many calories I'm eating and all of that. I'm gonna add some sour cream. We'll do a squeeze of lime, some tomato. One thing I really like about these, this carnitas meat is that it's like, there's orange peel in it, so it's super citrusy, but I want spicy too, so I'm gonna get some hot sauce. I don't know if you guys have seen this stuff. It's Secret Aardvark green hot sauce. I feel like they had this at one point at Taco Bell or something, maybe. It was like a collab, but it is kind of spicy, so I don't put a ton on, but I got it on Amazon, so I can link it down below. It's really good on eggs too. So there are my tacos. I have like 15 minutes to eat before my next meeting. That's good. I think it definitely needs the hot sauce with the orange peel. This would be super good in a burrito bowl also. We're gonna have a little bit later of a dinner today because of soccer practice. So for a snack this afternoon, I'm just having one of these little bags of Skinny Pop. I really love keeping these on hand and they're great to throw in your bag or your purse also. And then a sharp cheddar cheese stick. All right, so for dinner tonight, I am gonna make this pork fillet with chimichurri. So this is a Green Chef meal, which comes in super handy for nights like this when I didn't get groceries and I have no idea what to make. I'm gonna substitute the rice cauliflower in here and just make mashed potatoes instead because I have potatoes on hand and I wanna use the rice cauliflower for something else. So I got out 3 potatoes, but then the rest of this is from the Green Chef box. So I've got 2 pork fillets, a zucchini, Monterey Jack cheese, a little bit of cream cheese, some spice blend, and then the creamy chimichurri. I should probably put this back in the fridge. Drizzle with olive oil, salt, and put them in a 425-degree oven for about 10 minutes. All right, I peeled and just diced up the potatoes. I'm gonna add those to a pot with some salted water. And then I gotta get my zucchini into the oven. I seasoned my pork with the fajita seasoning, so I'm gonna go ahead and basically just sear that here on the stovetop and then transfer it to the oven to finish cooking. So I've roasted the pork in the oven for about 12 minutes. I'm just gonna cover it with foil and let it rest for a bit. Mash in the potato with that cream cheese. I'm not gonna add that shredded cheese to it. I don't think it needs it. And some butter. I'm probably gonna add just like a splash of milk here, salt, pepper. I let the pork rest for about 10 minutes and then I'm just gonna slice it fairly thin so that it's easy to cut on the plate. I served some of that chimichurri sauce over it with the potatoes and the zucchini. And honestly, this was a really good filling dinner. I loved that kind of savory combination of the potatoes and the chimichurri. All right, it's 9 o'clock and I couldn't eat all my dinner. I got too full. So that's fine. I took the drugs and the drugs are working. Anyway, I'm gonna take my shower.
All right, so I know some of you are interested in like calories and macros and all that. So here is how I ended up the day. I had less than 1,500 calories, including breakfast, lunch, afternoon snack, and dinner. Only 73 grams of protein. I probably need to work on that, but I did drink a ton of water. I put in 12 cups, but honestly, I probably drank more than that. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video. But in the meantime, here's one on the screen you can watch.